Thank you.
That never gets old, by the way. If you're sitting out there wondering what that feels like, fucking amazing. That feels really good jumping in the band. Hi, Vegas.
Hi, Vegas. So this is the lemonade part I was talking about earlier. Sure, Matt and Rich aren't here, but you and I, when have we ever done a panel before together? Never.
First time in history.
This is exciting.
Get ready.
Get ready. So thanks for joining us, everybody. Krista, thank you for reminding me earlier not to put my finger in my mouth.
You should put your finger in your mouth there?
Well, we do this song, and there's a kazoo solo. People bring kazoos and play during it, medicated. And I would say, if you don't have a kazoo, just put your finger in your mouth and go, blah, 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 blah. But I actually did it. So my finger's in my mouth, and she was like, not the finger in your mouth. And I was like, oh, I forgot. So
the glove bit was funny, though.
Yeah, it was a good bit. It's a funny bit. So yeah, I might have infected myself.
It's okay.
So yes, we'll start with a question.
Hi, Rob. My question is for you. My name is Vicki. I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
Hi.
And my question is, when you started out playing Chuck as the author, did you know that you were going to then be playing God?
When it first started, season 4, I didn't. All I knew was that I was the prophet. And then I didn't know until the end of season 5 when Swan Song, that episode, that was sort of Eric Kripke's, it was a really well-written episode, and Eric Kripke was his final episode, that's why it's Swan Song. And that was, he, in his mind, kind of outed me as God. I was basically a mouthpiece for him as the almighty creator of Supernatural. He is the God in that world. So, and he called me and he was like, so you're God, but I want you to not tell the fans that, because I want them to have their own interpretation of what that meant when you disappeared and were wearing white and all that. And then, I was gone for several seasons, and then they kind of found a way to sort of bring me back as God, and I was able to come out as God, literally. I was God, and then God came out. Anyway, so then I did that in season 10, kind of was a hint, and then season 11 officially. So yeah, but I didn't know at the beginning either, no. But it's fun I go back now, if you watch some of my earlier episodes, there are hints, if you would like to think that that's what they were doing. Whether or not he knew, I don't know that, but he definitely knew by the end of season 5. Thank you for your question.
That's a good answer.
Thanks. And this is one of my sons. This is exciting.
Oh, father-son panel.
Yeah,
Look
right?
at us. Is there, Mike? Oh, hi.
Hi, guys. Jake, thanks for pinch hitting.
My pleasure.
My question is, as always, what is the most interesting thing you've had to learn to do for a role?
Ooh, that's a good question. Most interesting thing, let's see, I don't know if wire work counts, but learning to do flips and stuff on a wire. Did a film called Percy Jackson years ago, and we had to do a lot of wire work. And while it's painful, it is also very fun. I also got to learn to use an acetylene torch on a movie,
What's
Flash
that?
of Genius. Basically, the thing you light on fire, you light it, it's a little torch. And I cut a car apart with it.
What?
Which was radical, and sent sparks off, and yeah.
In real life?
In real life, on a movie. You think it's like snow's usually fake, but not this was real. The acetylene torch, and I got a car and just went for it and started cutting it apart.
Oh.
Yeah.
You mean like a...
Yep. Sparks.
Yeah.
And then just started and then they're like, if you could aim the sparks at the camera, that would be great. And so yeah, I got to cut it. Didn't get to do the whole car, but got to cut it apart, a good piece of a car. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, really? I'm ready. No, Jake.
Yeah. I couldn't do it now. I didn't retain anything, but I did learn it at the time.
Wow.
Yeah. What about you? Have you learned anything?
I feel like I've learned a lot. I had to learn to shoot a gun, fire a weapon. That was nerve-wracking because it really is a kickback. The first time I did
They don't tell you that.
What
Was
is
it a
it?
shotgun?
No, when I was a kid, I feel like I had BB guns, I guess, as a kid. No, it was a handgun. But there's a kickback.
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh, that's why all the cops are. Right?
Holding it.
I was like, kickback. My hand, so yeah, that was scary. The funny thing about it too is I didn't actually shoot a gun in the movie, but they had it was a bank heist, And I was the getaway driver. But they wanted everyone in the bank heist to learn how to shoot a gun, so we went out to this.
Because it's subtext. It was behind the eyes.
Exactly.
Everyone was like, oh, that guy knows how to shoot a gun.
Yeah, they could tell.
He can't handle the kickback, but he knows how to shoot it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the scene is me going, definitely this guy's never shot a gun. But yeah, no, it's always fun when you
that's one of my favorite things is like getting a job that teaches you something new. That's kind of why this is the best gig, because you don't have to just pick one profession. You kind of get to get the whole grab bag of everything. So yeah, thanks. That was a great question.
Hello.
Hi.
So I know, my question's for Rob. So I know that, I love you, Jake. But I know that you play a pretty kind of serious God on Supernatural. But when my dad found out that I was going to ask you a question, he kind of freaked out because he loves you in the movie Waiting. And he's been he wanted to educate me, so I sat through half of the movie with him.
You only made it through half?
Yeah, because I felt uncomfortable watching that movie with my
With
dad.
your dad, yeah, no, I get that.
But anyways,
How old are you?
15.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's really laid back, a little too laid back.
Right, I hear you.
Anyways,
Me too.
so my question was, are you willing to do something like that, like comedy and stuff, like in the future, or do you like doing comedy more than serious?
I love doing comedy. Comedy's, I love them both. But I love doing comedy. It brings me a lot of joy. It's just fun too, especially if you're working on a sitcom. The nature of the set is always a little bit lighter. People like to laugh. You're trying to make people laugh, and so that it's always a great time. I mean, shooting that movie was so much fun. So yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of times I'll play kind of a funny guy on a drama. You know what I mean? Because I also do love the drama, but I like dramedy, a little bit of comedy and a drama. That's kind of where my wheelhouse has been. I mean, if you think back the way Chuck was earlier, he was a little bit funny guy, right? Really benign. And then it all turned. But, that's kind of my wheelhouse. I really do love doing the comedy. So, yeah, absolutely. It'd be fun to do one next. Definitely, yeah. Finish the movie on your own at some point. It's funny. Ryan Reynolds, it's funny stuff. But I get it. The reason I asked how old you were is because my son's 16, and he hasn't seen it yet. But he's old enough to see it. I just don't know if it'll make him feel uncomfortable talking about, it's just like boy humor. I think it was hilarious, but I don't know. With Dad watching it. And Dad saying the dirty lines. Like, Dad, you don't know about that stuff.
And your name's Calvin.
Anyway. You do comedy too, right?
I like to think I do. That's one thing I would like to do more of, though. I feel like I'm like you in that way, where I try to, if the scene's dramatic, I immediately try to find the funny and the light in it to subvert it. And I like playing characters that do both. But that is a world where I feel like I haven't got to spread my wings.
Yeah.
I would love to, because you're right. Like, who doesn't want to go to work every day and just try to make each other laugh?
Totally.
I think in Supernatural, even though the material is very, it can be very dark and heavy, that's still the overall goal. I think of everyone on set is like, if I can make you go up.
Exactly.
Then,
Yeah.
it's just fun.
And some of it is like straight up funny.
Yeah.
The Supernatural.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can be super funny.
Yeah. Anyone over there?
My question is for Jake, mostly.
And so that's your side.
This is your side.
This is my side.
Get it?
If say Michael had his father, Chuck, right in front of him, what do you think he would say to him with what he's been doing the last season?
Hey, ass butt. And
I deserve that.
yeah. And I don't know, but maybe we'll get a real answer to that question. I don't know.
He does know.
That'd be exciting.
That would be exciting. Hope that happens.
I hope somebody tells me if it does. I'd love to be there.
Thanks. I didn't sign an NDA. I can say whatever I want.
Hi.
Hello, my question is for Rob.
What's that?
It's about the set tonight. Could you or are you going to sing Medicated or Eskimo?
Well, we sang Medicated just now. Were you outside just now? We sang that?
What?
Well, we sang it just now in the vendor's room. Medicated. I'm sorry that you missed that. So we weren't going to play tonight because we did it just now. But maybe Eskimo.
Okay.
Let me talk to the guys, see if I can get that in there.
I was the one in the photo op who told you I listened to She Waits an Unhealthy.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's a spoiler alert. Definitely playing She Waits. When you said that, I was like, ooh, she's going to be happy tonight because we're playing that. So it'll be your like 437th time. So I'm so happy that helped you listen to that song. And I'll see you about Eskimo. Okay. Okay, we can make that happen.
My side?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually for Jake.
There you go.
Oh, this is fantastic for me.
So you were really amazing playing Adam and Michael against each other. Seeing you switch back and forth was just
That was
phenomenal.
awesome. It was awesome. I saw that.
Can you tell us about that experience? How weird it was? How fun it was? Like, what stood out for you?
It was really funny because I had just done this same thing on a show that I shot at the end of 2018 that came out on Netflix in 2019 called Another Life. And thank you. And literally, I was doing scenes with myself, and that was the first time I had done it. So it was great to have that practice before coming into the show. The only thing that was different with this version of doing that kind of like gimmick was transforming in real time, like while the camera's just rolling and transferring back and forth. I hadn't done that yet. And so when I first read the script, I knew, like in my mind, I wanted to try to make as subtle as possible a physicality change. And then Richard Speight, who directed the episode, had called me and he said, hey, for this thing, we're gonna put like, special effects in your eyes and stuff, but I don't want to rely on that. And I was like, I'm right there with you. I'm already working on something. I said, when I get up there in a couple of days, I'll show it to you. If you like it, let's explore that. And he seemed to dig it. And I try to keep it very subtle, but I think Michael is kind of down here and Adam was up here. And it was just this really small kind of shift. Something changes behind the eyes, and it was so much fun. Like, it's what a cool thing that we don't normally get to do. And hopping back and forth between, the booth, the diner booth, and it was just great. It was great fun. It was great to do that on a role like this with Adam and Michael that has such a legacy built behind it. It's been an honor. So yeah, thank you.
How cool. It was a great way to come back. Right?
Yeah.
It was so cool. And I love that they did that this final season.
To like make it worth it. Like it was good enough to come back with something that was,
Yeah.
just sort of half-baked or whatever. It's like
fucking epic.
Yeah.
And that was a great episode. Richard did a great job.
He's such a good director.
Yeah. It's a
Like,
great episode.
it was my first time working with him as a director, and he's just, a director creates the tone of the set. They lead what the tone is, and his is like, it's almost what we were just talking about, that oscillating between comedy and drama, whereas like he keeps it light and fun, but the moment that like you need to pull off an important scene, like the goodbye scene between Adam and Dean right before he walks out the door, that was an important moment we wanted to try to capture, and for that he'll drop down into it with you and make sure that you hit it before lightening it up and moving on to the next thing, and it's the only way to work.
Yeah, I mean, it's an advantage that directors like Richard and Jensen have because they're actors.
Yeah.
I had a great experience working with Jensen at the beginning of this
Really?
season, and I had never done that before with him, and he's a great director, and he knows me well too. He can pop in and has kind of a shorthand, hey, try it like this.
That's
what
another
if you're
thing,
like this
yeah.
on that line? I'm like, yes!
Yeah.
It's great, it's
I
exciting.
always knew I always knew that he would make a good director, because I feel like even early on in the series, in the earlier seasons, he kind of had that. You could tell he was interested in in doing that, so I'm not surprised.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've told this story often, but when we ran the Tough Mudder, together, and Richard and Jensen and Jared and I and Osric and Jason Mans, and we filmed the whole thing, and afterwards we had all this footage. So I was like, I cut it together, sort of lightly cut it together as a video for the boys, and I sent it to everybody. And right away, Jared and Jason and Osric were like, "Oh, that's great, buddy. It's great. It's good to see what we did that day." And I hadn't heard from Jensen and Richard, and I was like, "Jensen, Richard, any?" And they both were like, took it so seriously. They're like, "I feel like Act 1 drags a bit. I feel like you could have popped in, gotten a close-up on me climbing the warp wall, or whatever. Can we come around? Do we have footage on the, they had like all these director notes. I was like, guys, it's just a video for my buddies. This is not, I don't know. I feel like the in could be tighter. Yeah, they're like consummate directors. They're always looking at everything from a director's eye.
Well,
yeah, I don't necessarily have that. I just want people to like me. Yes.
Hi, lovelies. How are you?
Hi, good.
Thank you, Jake, for coming in, for stepping in
My
for us
pleasure.
and showing up.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I have a question for both of you guys.
We need a center aisle.
And what you were talking about leads right into my question.
Okay.
Which is a lot of the actors that have been on Supernatural has gone on to work behind the camera as directors. I was wondering, have you guys ever thought about directing, whether it's your own project or a script or for a movie or a TV show that maybe you found interesting?
Yeah, that's my end game, is to have a production company. And my wife's a screenwriter, I write. I've written 11, 12 screenplays, working on something with her right now. It's funny that you mentioned editing the funny video, because some of our best friends got married. My wife and I, we did the wedding, we married them, but they also made what's called a hen video, because the bride is British. And so she interviewed our friend who she was to marry, and interviewed him and made it into this like fun drinking game kind of thing. And I was like, I'm not editing this, right? I don't have time for it, I'm not gonna do it. So just so you know, before you get in too deep, I'm not doing this. And she was like, it'll be simple. I knew it wasn't gonna be simple. So she finishes it, she's got all this great footage, and suddenly I'm like, all right, I'll throw together a rough cut for you. I'd literally spent each day 13 hours a day in Final Cut, editing this thing, doing animation. I'm of the same breed as Jensen.
Yeah, all right.
And I had like confessed to him that like there's a part in it that I wish I could change. He just told me the other day, I was like, it really bugs me. I'm so sorry I did this. And he's like, what are you talking about?
This is for us.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Have you gotten distribution yet?
We're working on it. We're at Blumhouse.
That's awesome.
But yes.
I write a lot, and I wrote a short film, a half-an-hour film that I'm really proud of, but I did not direct it, and I feel like, that's something in the future I can imagine doing, is directing something that I've written. But for now, I'm happy writing and acting. It's not something that I have to do before I die, but sure, if the circumstances were right, there's, as a writer, I think if you're a writer-director, I think there's an advantage you have, because when you write something, you see it a specific way in your head, and I think that's why I'd like to do like a short film, something nothing too crazy, something where I see it a certain way, I've written it a certain way, so in my mind, it's, it would be, I think, gratifying if I could do that. So yeah, at some point maybe, sure.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I was wondering, what's your favorite type of character to play for the two of you?
Favorite type of character?
Favorite type of character, yes.
Like in general?
Yes, what's the favorite type of character for you to play?
I know for me, because I've done it a lot, I like playing, this is why I like doing movies as well, is I like playing characters that have complete arcs. So if they start as a bad guy, end as a good guy, start as a good guy, end as a bad guy. I don't know why, I've just played quite a few of those in my career, and I think I like trying to find that travel, and try to to complete a journey of change. And bad guys are always fun anyway, so, you know, yeah.
Turns out.
Turns out.
Yeah, I like playing all different types. I think that naturally I fall into a couple of different types that I think I do, that people like to see me do, that somehow are a little more easy for me to do. I mean, falling into the guy who's like super nervous and neurotic is just something I go, if I have an audition and it's a super nervous, neurotic guy, I go, okay, yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Getting this one.
I know what this guy is. Yeah. And then the other thing that I've always done in various ways is some kind of dickhead. Like whether or not it's like Chuck this season, or if it's like my character in Felicity, who could be kind of a jerk. Sometimes for some reason, the part of me that can play those characters is the part of me that has a joy in playing somebody that I am not, but I know really well. Like I know that guy. So it's almost a way of me getting back at that guy who bullied me in high school, you know what I mean? So I get to be that guy.
Maybe you found this, but I find this a lot with actors. Usually actors who play like the really romantic, great, nice guys on screen just suck in real life. Like, just are awful. And the people that play like bad guys and jerks on screen
so nice.
Are the nicest people you could ever meet.
Willem Dafoe, I hear, is like the nicest guy.
I'm sure.
He's played a lot of creepy guys.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah. It's this weird rule.
Yeah.
that,
Jensen and Jared are the exception.
That is true.
Yeah, they are. I mean, obviously, I'm not just saying that because we're all here to praise them. You know what I mean? I'm not blowing smoke up anyone's ass. They're the nicest guys in real life.
I think that's why the show's run for 15 years with mostly the same crew and same cast.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen very often because usually by 15 years everyone's like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
But I think that's a testament to not just the boys, but to you and everyone else in the cast as well. Right?
Everybody.
It's why I look forward to coming back.
Yeah. No, and it really is.
Yeah.
It's a rarity. Yeah. So yeah, I guess the real answer is we'll play whatever you want us to play.
What was the question? Yeah, thank you.
Hi, so I was just wondering, I know that there's a lot of bad blood between your characters on the show right now. Is there anything they could say or do that would mend the fences between them?
That's above my pay grade.
Did you see this?
Yeah, at this point, Chuck seems pretty far gone, but
For Michael, yeah. Because all he wants is his dad to say, I'm sorry, right? But he won't. Something tells me he won't.
well, we'll see. I don't know, he could call, you know what I mean? Check in every once in a while. I don't hear from him for years. No idea where he is. He's been a bad boy. And he never calls Dad anymore. I'm just up in the home, reading the paper. Just waiting for one of my sons to call. My sons are Gabriel, this guy, Lucifer. I mean, you try raising boys like that. So, yeah, no, it's really lonely up in Godville. They could call every once in a while. That's why I'm so angry. Everybody always complaining to me. Nobody calls. It's lonely being God. So, that's what I want. I want them to call. Pick up the phone. Why don't you? Call, collect. I'll accept the charges. That.
So I have a question for Jake.
It's your side.
So obviously Michael and Adam were a little annoyed with the boys that it took them 10 years to get him out of hell. But it seemed to me that he was more annoyed with Dean than he was with Sam. And since Adam isn't a drooling mess, that makes me think that Michael protected Adam in the cage while Sam was being tortured. Do you think that Michael and Adam feel bad about that?
Feel bad about what? Sorry.
About how, because it seems it's implied, maybe I'm wrong, that Michael protected Adam while he was in the cage and kept him from being tortured.
Yeah.
But Sam was tortured a lot by Lucifer.
Yeah.
They just kind of let
Sucks
it
to be
happen.
him, doesn't it? Am I right? Do you think that Adam and Michael feel bad about that?
Yeah.
No.
Not at all.
Why? I mean, maybe they don't even know. Who knows? Maybe in the cage they were in like a separate apartment or something, playing homemaker. They might not even have heard the screams.
Yeah. It's a really nice cage. I mean, people don't
Really
talk about
nice.
that a lot.
Yeah, on Netflix and chill.
No,
And
it's a 2-bedroom.
yeah, the loft. No, I don't think they feel bad about it. I think they had their own stuff going on. So yeah, thanks. Was that not the answer we wanted?
Great answer.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
My question is, what is your most challenging role been on TV, film, or in life?
Oh.
The life.
It was that last part of the question that really threw me. Hardest role, is that what you're saying? Most challenging.
role.
Go ahead.
I did a film called Against the Sun with Tom Felton and Garrett Dillahunt, and we had to, we had to diet, like extreme diet, like had to lose a bunch of weight, and I was the only one who didn't cheat. Like,
Were you playing like someone who's...
So it was a World War II drama, and it was
Right.
a true story. These 3 pilots went down in the South Pacific, and they survived on a raft for 31 days with little to no rations. So that movie Unbroken with Angelina Jolie,
Right.
it wasn't that one. But
Who's that other one?
but ours happened before them, and we lasted longer with less rations.
So take that, Angelina
take
Jolie.
that. Take that, American war heroes. But we had to like really diet, and like I dropped a crazy amount of weight in a short amount of time.
Because you're huge. Like, I can't imagine you dropping weight.
Just like it was just coming off like that. I mean, 6 small meals a day. Like the one night a week we got sent home with like broth and a meatball like that big was like amazing. Then the next day they come to set and like Tom would be like, I had crisps last night. I'm like, well, I didn't. And Garrett's like, yeah, I had a beer. I was like, I didn't have that. And in the movie, they start like we're doing like our actor thing. We're doing like the rehearsal, the read through. And in the movie, like on the morning they wake up, on the first day on the raft, they're already talking about food. And as actors, we're like, I don't know that it would happen that quickly. The morning of the diet, we were being served an egg white, and we were like, oh, I can't wait to have In-N-Out. We didn't even last as long as they did in real life, so that was very difficult for me.
Where did you shoot it?
In Baja, California, in Rosarito, where they shot Titanic,
Fun.
where James Cameron they literally built a studio to film Titanic. And Master and Commander also filmed there with Russell Crowe, and that ship from the movie is still dry docked there,
Wow.
and it's overrun by dog-sized birds.
What?
These crazy crows with like cock eyes.
What the... what?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna go on a tangent here because this story is really interesting to me.
It's interesting to me. It's terrifying.
So they built a studio with a fake backlot, right? A fake backlot that people used to be able to go and do tours of a fake movie set that was never used. It was just like to recoup money it took to build this Titanic studio. So the Master and Commander ship is there, and each of us had like golf carts. It's a big lot to get from our dressing rooms to set fast. And so one day I'm like, in my robe, because we only wearing like shorts in the movie, and I'm zipping around the lot exploring. I see the ship. I'm like, oh, so cool, Master and Commander. So I walk up the like main walkway at the ship. I'm on there like taking pictures, and then I hear, ah! What the fuck was that? I hear it again like, ah! And I look over, and there's a crow this big, like this. And I'm like, whoa, it ain't that serious. And I hear, ah, there's another one. There was like 15 terrier-sized birds, all crazy-eyed, cocked like a pistol, looking at me. And I was just like And I'm in slippers like flip-flops too, so I cannot run at this point. So I was like, back out. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I should not be here. I apologize.
Jesus, man.
And the kingbird let me go. And I got back in my golf cart and never returned.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. Birds are terrifying to me.
Especially big crows in Baja, California, Mexico.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm the captain now.
I'm the captain now, yeah. Another funny thing about that studio lot is Russell Crowe couldn't wait to get home to have a drink, apparently, so he built a bar on the set. It's called the Monkey Bar. And him and his band would play there after work, and then it was a full bar, and they used sets from the Titanic in there. So all the tables, like, because they did forced perspective, either you're eating up really high like this, or really low on the ground far away because of forced perspective.
No way.
Dude, it's kind of amazing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've never even heard about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russell Crowe likes to party.
Yeah, he does.
I did a movie with him, State of Play, and he,
We veered hard. What is your most challenging role?
Geez, I'm still stuck on the birds. My most challenging was listening to that story. I was terrified. It's always hard to do independent movies that are difficult. Like, I did a horror movie that didn't turn out, it's not the best movie in the world. It was a long time ago, it was like 15 years ago, called Callback. And I was like an asshole movie director.
Is this like a callback, like is it like a film inspired?
And these two actresses just take me hostage and torture me, basically.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and it was, it's amazingly bad. It's a really fun callback. It's called Callback. And I don't even know if you can get it, but I think you can. Anyway, so...
Someone's already found it on there.
What's tough about it is that, I'm literally, I've got my hands in vices, right? And they're cutting me with razor blades, and they've got, blood all over me, and we're only shooting nights. So you're working all night long, and it's an indie movie, so we didn't have a trailer or whatever to go relax in, like you would relax on
Nothing
set.
to eat, there's no good food on that crap.
Exactly, so that's when it's hard, is like when you're busting your ass to make something you're really going there and going full De Niro with the role, and you really are suffering. There's later in the movie I escape and I jump into a pool. The pool's freezing. It's 3 a.m. and I'm freezing cold, and there's no one going like, hey buddy, what can we get you a robe to? You're just kind of fending for yourself for the sake of art. So it's extra disappointing afterwards. You're like, this sucks. The movie's not great. But so that's hard. That's a bit challenging, but certainly none of those are things to, it's not like it's a first world problem.
We have a really hard job. That's what we're trying to say. We don't get to eat
like
a lot.
nobody's there with like a robe.
We drive golf carts around all day for fun.
The birds were like really big, you guys. Certainly the most, challenging thing in life is being a human being and trying to just get by day after day. And for me, being a father and is, has been challenging. No, not really. I got really good kids. I'm lucky. But, almost dying, that was tough. I don't know. But I'm here now, and I'm happy, and I'm with Jake, and it's all good. So I guess we have nothing to complain about.
Hi, sorry, Jake. My question's for Rob.
Wait, that's not the what?
No, you're on the
I was
wrong
on the wrong side.
That's okay.
My question is, over the last 11 years, Chuck has gone through quite the evolution. What is your favorite part about playing this version of Chuck, the petulant child, the dickbag?
I like dickbag. My favorite part of playing dickbag Chuck. It's there's a lot about it that's super fun. The not fun part is that I know as a fan of the show, you kind of hate me right now. And it was more fun when I would come to the conventions and they're like, I love Chuck. Chuck's so fun and funny. I loved it when you said this. And now I've got people in photo ops saying, hey, now we're going to club you. but my friend's gonna kick you in the ass, and then there's blood, and but there's a lot that's super fun about playing that kind of role, like we were talking about. I mean, again, it's someone's giving you the keys to be kind of a badass and walk in front, stand up to someone like Jensen who could kick my ass in real life, and kind of be like, bring it, punk. It's like, that's just kind of fun to get the keys to do something, like to be allowed to do something that I'm a 5'7" nerd, but in this scenario, I get to like walk up to Jensen Ackles and be like, oh yeah? Prove it! He punches me and nothing happens, and then I hit him and he flails across the room, ha ha! Beat you, punk! And then the yell cut, so sorry, Jensen, are we good? You good? You and me are good, right? You knew that was just acting. So that's what's kind of fun about that. When you're just a little guy like me, it's fun to be that guy. So that's, that part of it can be very fun. And there are episodes that haven't aired yet where it's just I get to say some fun stuff and do some fun stuff in the name of the drama that is Supernatural, and getting to that, being able to play God. I mean, that's, it's just a huge fun thing to sink your teeth into. So as an actor, we love that. My favorite roles ever is like Iago in Othello. He's like the biggest bad guy. He's a total asshole for no reason. He just hates Othello. But he says there's some fun parts. It's this fun, jealous asshole.
There's no rules with the bad guy. Like there's no you can't make it like you can do whatever you want.
Right.
There's no like
exactly.
You can be nice and it's still like why are you being nice?
Yeah.
Right? Like there's there's no rules.
Yeah. And in real life there are rules. And for someone like me, I'm a kind of a people pleaser. And so it's fun to be like, okay, I get the permission, just like, go ahead and be that guy just for a second, for pretend. So I hope that answered the question. That's kind of all over the place. Yeah. I just hope everyone remembers it's just a role on TV. I'm not that guy.
One of my best friends is an actor. He played a role like he was a bad guy on a TV show, and his mom was at the grocery store, and a woman, the customer, found out that like she was my friend's mom, and she came up to her and was just like, I just think it's awful what your son did. Like, what are you talking about? Just awful. Like sometimes.
Which part?
I don't remember. It was like a Veronica Mars or something maybe, but it was just like something that didn't even warrant that kind of like thing. Like I guess maybe.
Yeah.